Hello and welcome along to another episode of Upping the Ante. I'm David Jennings from the Racing Post. I'm delighted to be joined by my Racing Post colleague Gavin Lynch. How are you, Gavin?
Good, Dave. How are you?
How long to go now?
9 weeks tomorrow.
9 weeks till Cheltenham. 9 weeks. The countdown is well and truly underway. Now, this is our first show of 2018, so we're going to have a look back on all that's happened over the festive period. We've so much to get through, and the question I'm putting to you, Gavin, and we're both going to answer this is, I want 5 horses that caught your eye over the festive period that really interest you with regard to Cheltenham. So, number 1, top of the list at the moment is...
I suppose probably best to start with the best race of the Christmas was the King George. So Might Bite, you'd have to say, certainly advanced his Gold Cup claims.
He certainly did, and he's actually favourite now, quite short at 7-2 after what we saw in the Christmas chase at Leopardstown. Just tell us why you think 7-2 might still be a little bit of value.
It's more by default than anything else because Sizing John fluffed his lines, and also York Hill was the same in Leopardstown. So it's nearly by default. The only other horse that advanced his claims over the Christmas for the Gold Cup was Coney Island and Ascot.
Yes,
very much so. Yeah, he was very impressive. People might crib with Might Bite because he only beat Double Shuffle and T4-2, but he hasn't done a lot wrong. He's a 9-year-old, so this might be his
Well, I'm going to play
play
devil's advocate here. The King George, we all thought was going to be really interesting. You had Fox Norton, you had Whisper,
Bristol de Mai.
You had Bristol de Mai. We were all really looking forward to it, and a bit like the Christmas chase at Leopardstown, but it turned into a farce.
It did a bit, yeah.
Have you ever seen a Grade 1 with so many horses beaten so early?
Not the King George, no, especially when you've...
So why the hell would you back Might Bite at 7-2?
Double Shuffle's only rated 151 before Kempton.
Yeah.
I haven't backed him and I won't back him, I'd say, yet, but I'm just saying he certainly advanced his claims and he deserves to be favourite.
Okay. You haven't convinced me now. I hope the viewers might be easily led, but I don't think Might Bite at 7-2 is value. Number 2?
I'm going to go for a couple of horses under the radar a little bit. One is Far Class, who was second to Esperdalen. It was his first run for Gordon Elliott over hurdles at Christmas at Leopardstown. He was only beaten just over a length.
Yes.
He's running a 20-25 to 1 shot for the Triumph. I'm not saying again I'll back him, but he certainly was a good eye catcher.
Okay, that's Far Class was second to Esperdalen at Leopardstown on St Stephen's Day. Number 3?
Number 3, Burning Ambition in the Hunter's Chase down in Limerick.
Okay, that is in the long grass.
That's
Burning Ambition. You mightn't have heard of it, but Gavin is going to tell you why it's going to win the Christie's Fox Hunters.
It's won numerous point-to-points. It was very impressive in Limerick in the Hunter's Chase. It's just that the Fox Hunters this year, there's no star names in it that we can see at the moment. So at around 12-1, he might have a chance.
On the fringe is probably still favoured, is he?
He's not, but
no, okay.
I don't know what age he is this year, but he's older than you, I'd say.
He's 27, yeah. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4?
Number 4, I suppose I'll go for Super Sunday.
Yes.
That was second to
The first one, I'm going to agree with you.
It was probably the finish of the Christmas. It was an amazing finish. I think Super Sunday traded at least 10s on and running, and Apple's Jade just nutted him on the line. So for the stayers, Super Sunday won the Coral Cup. Will love the ground. I think that's got a great chance.
There we have the price now. Sam Spinner 4-1, Super Sunday 7s, Apple's Jade 7s.
What do you like in it?
I actually agree with you with Super Sunday. I think he did enhance his claims, but there is one in this that's overpriced, and that is Lammy Surge, who is a horrible horse. For those of you that have backed Lammy Surge in your career, it is gut-wrenching every time he runs because he travels so well, and I love these bridle horses. But how Sam Spinner can be 4-1 and Lammy Surge can be 12-1 is beyond me. He does. He does. He won a French champion hurdle. He needs to go left-handed. He needs to go ground. He needs a strong gallop, and he comes alive in the spring. So for those 4 reasons, I think 12-1.
If he wins the stairs, I'll come and cut your lawn. How's that?
Cut my lawn?
Yeah.
I don't have a house, so that'd be very easy. You can hoover my bedroom.
Maybe.
Okay, so you're giving your.
I wouldn't like Lammy Surge. I think Super Sunday. Did you say he's going to run the Irish Champion Hurdle next?
He is. Jessica Harrington revealed an audacious plan to run him in the Irish Champion Hurdle because she thinks she needs to waken him up. She reckons he's doing things too slow. She wants him jumping slicker, travelling with a bit more zest. So 2 miles, Leopardstown, she reckons could be the perfect warm-up for Cheltenham.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Revolutionary.
Okay, what are we up to now? Are we up to number 5 for you?
Yeah, Footpad. To me, for the 10 days of Christmas, we'll say the only horse that I texted somebody after the race, wow, was Footpad. He's 2-2 over fences, Nav and Leopardstown. He hasn't beaten much with Brelade and also any second now, but he just cannot do it any more impressive.
And while people might see these prices and see 7-4 Footpad, and you might say, my God, there's 9 weeks to Cheltenham. Why would you back Footpad at 7-4? But he does look bulletproof, doesn't he?
You might say the same about Monolith. Before Monolith made that terrible error in Leopardstown, Monolith had jumped perfect, and Footpad has jumped 2 rounds of perfection so far. You just hope that he'll be able to put in a short one if he needs to. Obviously, Monolith wasn't able to, but so far he's been foot perfect, Footpad.
And 7-4 there. We all know the concessions on the day. Is it worth taking the 7-4? Are you better off waiting until the day with something like footpad?
I had a look this morning in Betfair, and they're actually backing it shorter than 7-4 in the machine. So
Okay.
I think 7-4 is very fair. Petit Mouchoir, we haven't seen him in a while. Hopefully he returns for the Irish ARKLE, possibly against footpad. That'll be an interesting matchup if he does over here.
Okay, so that's Gavin's 5 who ran over the festive period.
What was your other ones?
So my 5, and what I want you to do is, right, I want you to give them marks out of 10, okay? So this will I'll give you my 5 and you can say, rate them out of 10, the chances they have, okay? So this could be very interesting. Okay, my first one is Maria's Benefit.
For which race?
Have you heard of the horse?
I don't think so.
Maria's Benefit for the Mayor's Novices Hurdle. She was breathtaking at Taunton. She's now rated 152. Yes.
Okay.
She won a listed hurdle at Taunton on the 30th of December. She's rated 152. The favourite for that race at the moment is Apple Shakira, who goes for the Triumph Hurdle. It's wide open, and Maria's Benefit is rated 152. She could run in the Supreme, but I think this is the aim now, and she's completely under the radar, so much so that you've never even heard of her.
That's like Taunton. Ruby Walsh got told about a horse that had won the Sussex National one time, and he just laughed it out of town. So I'd be the same.
Okay.
I think Willie Mullins will win the Mayor's Novice with whatever Ruby rides. He's 2 for 2 in the race.
Okay. My next one is Scoaterra for the Kim Muir 10-1. Oh, Mark Maria's Benefit out of 10.
3.
3. Okay, never heard of her. Scoaterra for the Kim Muir. I just thought it was a real eye-catching run in
8.
the Paddy Power. Yes.
8.
Okay.
Great
Scoaterra.
chance.
10-1 for the Kim Muir. I think that could be a bit of value. Okay, I'm going to go for Coney Island in the Gold Cup at 10-1. I just think his jumping is safe, and I just think the novices from last year could be an exceptional bunch. And he has beaten them all. He's beaten Road to Respect, he's beaten Disco, he's beaten Annabelle Fly, and that form looks tremendous at the moment. So I think Coney Island at the moment at 10-1 for the Gold Cup.
One other thing in favour of Coney Island, he's only a 7-year-old, which is a big help.
Can you give me a 9 for that?
I'll give you a 6.
Jesus. Right, we won't be getting you as a judge in Strictly Come Dancing. And how many is that I've given you now?
3.
3, okay. One I spoke about earlier, Lammy Surge at 12-1 for the Stayers Hurdle, going back left-handed.
3.
You giving that a 3?
Yeah.
Okay, and my final one is in the Weatherby's Champion Bumper, Good Boy Bobby, who was absolutely brilliant in the bumper, Chep. So I don't know what he beat. He's not in the price at the moment. Holographic is 7-1 favourite, and we might be coming to this bumper later on in the show. But that was an exception for him. So he wears a hood. Sam Twiston-Davies was interviewed afterwards, and he said his only problem during the race was trying to keep a hold of him. He said he's that good, and I think he could be exceptional. So Good Boy Bobby for the Weatherby's Champion Bumper. He's not in the betting here, but he's around 16 or 20-1. So that would be my 5. Rank Good Boy Bobby.
5 out of 10. It's just hard to see many horses winning in Chepstow going on to win at Cheltenham. I know he definitely just sold, maybe did it, but...
Yeah, definitely just all they do. Okay, so that's our 5 horses that ran over the festive period that we are really interested in, looking forward to Cheltenham. So it'll be interesting to follow their progress in the market over the coming weeks. So now these are the ones that are not going to win. We're going to have 3 blowouts. So 3 horses that ran over the festive period that you cannot have in your mind for Cheltenham. I'll let you go first.
One of them I've already backed at fancy prices,
Good
but
start.
it doesn't matter, yeah. The first one's Megley Khan.
Wow.
I just can't trust him after what he did at Leopardstown.
What did he do?
He jumped out through the side
No,
rail.
I know he did, but why?
I don't know. Ruby Walsh said afterwards on the TV it was easier to jump the hurdle, which was less than half the height of the side rail, so I just couldn't forgive him for that.
Okay, so Megley can't win the Supreme.
Don't think so. It's an 8 or 9, 10-1 chance. I wouldn't like it. Min is the next one. It's only a 4 or 5-1 chance for the Champion Chase. I can't understand that price. To me, it should be twice that. Now, maybe Willie's horses weren't firing at Christmas, so maybe that's the only excuse. But to beat or get beaten by Simply Ned in the Stewards' Room, like that horse was rated 151. He's now 11 years old, Simply Ned. So that form is
Did
just...
the stewards make the right call?
I'd say so. When you seen the rail shoot up into the air, that really sealed his fate. But I couldn't have him in.
Okay, and your third one?
Finian's Oscar. He looked a fantastic horse a few months ago, but I couldn't have him whether he goes JLT or RSA. His jumping is just, since he ran at Sandown, his jumping has fallen to bits again the last day at Ascot. So those 3, Megley Khan, Min and Finian's Oscar.
Okay, my 3 are, and they might be a little bit more controversial. My first one is Willoughby Court, who is favoured for the JLT.
Yeah,
I just don't think he deserves to be favoured for the JLT. I thought he might improve for better ground, but I thought on New Year's Day he was beaten fair and square by Yanworth. He was a well-beaten third that day. I was disappointed in him.
Yeah, he was giving him £4 or £5, but even so, he was beating 8 lengths. But
And a lot of people are still fancying him for the JLT.
no, I'd agree with you.
My second one is a horse I cannot have in my mind for any race going forward, and that is Fox Norton. I was bitterly disappointed with him in the King George, and I know it came close after the Tingle Creek, but I cannot see that horse winning a Ryanair.
No, I'd agree with you.
And my final one is Finian's Oscar. So it's a bad day for Colin Tizard and the Potses, because Finian's Oscar just doesn't jump quick enough, does he?
No. He's a little bit like Yanworth, but Yanworth is even better jumper than Finian's Oscar.
I wouldn't be giving up on Yanworth.
Would you not?
No, he's one of my many guilty pleasures. He's up there with Home and Away. Yeah. I just like him. I think he's got loads of ability. He doesn't do things properly, which is obviously very worrying.
Oh, he's always slow over 2 or 3 or 4 of them, isn't he?
He
has a little look.
Yeah, but I think if they do go the RSA route, he's certainly got a chance. So they're my three: Willoughby Court, Fox Norton, and Finian's Oscar. Okay, so we're going to have a look back on the weekend, and I suppose the main race of the weekend, from a Cheltenham point of view, was the Lauders of Naas Novice Hurdle.
Yes.
And it was won, as expected, by Next Destination. Were you impressed?
I was reasonably impressed. He ran a little bit keen early. Willie said afterwards that they'd gone slow in the first, say, half mile or mile of the race. And at the time, the race wasn't too bad. It was 5 minutes 10, so obviously they quickened up a lot in the last mile. Cracking Smart, I suppose, was as big an eye catcher.
We've got some betting here for the Ballymore Novice Hurdle, which could be the race of the festival. If Sam Crow, Next Destination, On the Blind Side, Get a Bird, if them 4 run, it could be a race to really look forward to. Yeah,
then 3 or 4 fantastic horses. Next Destination, Willie hasn't dismissed the chance of running in the Bartlett yet over 3 miles. This race is 2 mile 5, so it'll be interesting. He thinks that he may go here because they'll go quicker in the Ballymore and he might settle just a little bit better. His jumping was fantastic, but you'd have to say Cracking Smart did his chances for the Bartlett no harm. He stayed on very well to be only beaten a length in the end.
Now favour for the Albert Bartlett.
And rightly so, if Next Destination doesn't go for that. But you'd still fancy Willie's if he shows up in the 3 miler.
And if Sam Crow had a run in this race yesterday, I know a dirty scope deprived us of seeing the mighty Sam Crow, do you think he would have won the race?
Probably. He looks similar to Footpad, one of the only horses for the winter that you'd text somebody wow after the race because of what we've seen in Navan, but he probably would have. He would have been certainly, I think originally in the betting he was like 4 to 9 to win it. So.
When you met your wife, was the first thing you text your friends, wow?
Wow, yeah.
Wow, I've met the one. Is it a trait of Gavin Lynch?
Couple of times a year.
Okay, so Footpad and Sam Crow are the two that got the
Cheltenham.
wow from Gavin Lynch. I suppose We Have a Dream did what he had to do in the finale juvenile hurdle at Chepstow. Was workmanlike, but they did pull a long way clear.
They did, and they went slow early on, and the two of them raced down to the last, and the two of them winged it. So there's lots and lots of horses in the Triumph Hurdle. There's 6 or 7 there that have a chance. But certainly he did nothing wrong. That's 3 from 3 with Nicky since he came from France.
Yes, and looks a horse very much to follow. But Nicky has a very, very strong hand in the juvenile hurdle department. We saw it a few years ago.
He usually does.
Yeah, he does. And I'd imagine Apple Shakira is still the number 1 though, would you?
I'd say definitely, yeah. No, she's clear favourite, I think around 7 to 2. So, but you've also got horses in it like Esport Allen, Stormy Ireland, Far Class that we mentioned, Mr. Adjudicator, Apple Shakira, We Have a Dream, Sussex Ranger. It's very competitive.
I think Apple Shakira myself is fairly rock solid at this stage. And I suppose I have to mention it, the Tolworth Hurdle. My beloved Western rider
No joy.
ensured that I got absolutely abused on Twitter. Now, I mean abused. I was nearly going to go down to the local Garda station. It was that bad. Yeah, Western rider. And now, in my defence, can I just say that Western rider hammered Somerville Boy
Yes.
in Cheltenham. Is that a fair comeback?
It is. I think they had gone a bit. Somerville Boy had been keen, I think, the previous time. But do you know what's interesting is that Somerville Boy won a bumper in Killarney last May.
Yes.
And at the weekend there, the Tolworth was his first win over hurdles from 4 attempts.
Can you make head or tail of it? Why did it happen? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, well, maybe the ground. I don't know. I wouldn't.
Would you have any of them on your mind for Cheltenham?
Not particularly.
No.
And
the Supreme Novice Hurdle, that is one of the key trials for the Supreme Novice Hurdle. And it's a race that hasn't captured the imagination yet. You don't fancy Mengley Can.
I don't.
But I think next week we could be hearing about one of your fancies, could we?
I fancy a horse for the Supreme, and I'm not sure, but I think he might have ran at Dundalk there last week. So
you fancy a horse for the Supreme Novice Hurdle at Chepstow that might have ran at Dundalk on the all-weather?
I might have, but I'll tell you next Monday.
Okay, we'll keep that for next week. That's very, very interesting. Now, Gavin, we've had a number of fancies for you for the Cheltenham Festival.
Yes.
You've laid your cards on the table and you've given us a horse every week for the Cheltenham Festival. So far, what we've got is Cause of Causes, who you sleep with every night, at 6-1 for the cross-country
My
chase.
favourite horse in training, yeah.
We've got Espordalen at 10-1 for the Triumph Hurdle. We've got Footpad at a juicy 5-1 for the ARKLE. We've got Cracking Smart at 12-1 for the Albert Bartlett, and Undersow at 9-2 for the Rhino. Now, before we move on to this week's selection, this is looking very, very nice.
Well, at least they're all still alive and well, and they're going for those races. I think that's an important thing.
So this is shorter.
Yeah.
This is slightly shorter. This is way shorter.
Yeah.
This is shorter, and this is roughly the same.
Roughly the same.
That's good work, Gavin. We'll keep you.
But I think that they're going to go for those 5 races, hopefully, if they're fit on the day, you know.
And out of them 5, is this still top of the list?
I'd say Footpad, and then maybe Cause of Causes, yeah.
Okay. Now, everybody, after seeing that list, will be dying to know what you picked for this week. So, it is
Holographic for the champion bumper.
Oh, wow.
And again, it's a horse that'll go for that race. You know, he's no other options.
Okay, so tell viewers why they should back Holographic at 7-1 for the Weatherby's champion bumper.
It's only had 2 starts in its career so far. Ran in April last year and punched on the Goffs Land Rover bumper. Patrick didn't even ride it that day. He rode a horse for Joseph O'Brien called Early Doors. I think he said at the time that the horse was backward and a big horse that he didn't think maybe would win that day. It ran a cracker. It was only beaten a neck. Katie Walsh rode it, but one thing to note, the ground was quite decent, but also that it ran way, way, way too keen. Have a look at the video, it just ran incredibly keen. The form was quite good. The 3rd horse was Early Doors, who was 2nd in the Royal Bond since. The 4th was Rapid Escape, who's won 3 bumpers since then. It then reappeared on the 10th of December and it beat Dunvegan by 13 lengths, giving it £6. The 3rd horse that day beaten 31 lengths, there was not many left. The 2 of them ran over the Christmas. Dunvegan bolted up in a bumper in Fairy House by 6 lengths from Clinton Hill of Willys, and not many left. Ran very, very well in a 2.5 mile maiden hurdle. He was only beaten less than 3 lengths when 5th to Flawless Escape, Jatez, Francine and Tower Bridge. So that was quite a good run for a horse that he beat by 31 lengths. Willie said afterwards that he looks the real deal. He's got the right sire and beat Hollow. He's a very laid back horse, and he said he looks like a Cheltenham bumper type. Patrick had said previous on TV that Holographic was the one horse for the winter he was looking forward to. Generally, Willie can have 3, 4, 5 horses for the Cheltenham bumper, but this is, I think, definitely his number 1. Also to note, Willie won 3 bumpers at Leopardstown, Black Bow, carefully selected, and Manila Encore. So his horses are in quite good form. He hasn't won the Cheltenham bumper since 2013 with Briar Hill. He's won 8 out of 25, which is roughly 1/3. Patrick will definitely ride it, I'd say, because he is the choice for the Cheltenham bumper. But he's won it twice with Cousin Vinny and Champagne Fever. So I think Holographic
Can I just ask a favour?
Good value at 7-1.
Just the next time you're on the show and you're tipping one for Cheltenham, will you do a bit of research?
Okay.
Yeah, please, because you can't just be throwing these out, not backing up your selections.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think 7-1 is good value.
Have you been doing anything else for the last week apart from putting forward your case for backing Holographic?
That was an hour this morning, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think everybody will agree that Gavin has put forward a fairly strong case for Holographic at 7-1 with 188 bet in the Weatherby's champion bumper. Unfortunately, I can't give the same type of in-depth analysis because I have a job to do. So my selection is going to be the filly, the mare that you've never heard of, and it is Maria's Benefit for the OLBG. No, it's not. It's the Dawn Run Mares Novices Hurdle. I think she is a superstar. She's a winning machine, and that race at Taunton that you will have to watch.
I will.
That's the first thing you should do after this show is watch that race.
I will.
She beat a horse into 3rd called Sunshay, who's rated 134. I think Sunshay was beaten 54 lengths that day. She's now rated 152, and she is crying out for good ground, even though that was in soft ground. And it looks, I know you're going to say Willie is going to run something in the next couple of weeks that might, I suppose, take over favouritism from Apple Shakira, who's not going to run the race.
Yes.
But I think she is exceptional.
Okay.
There we go. So Maria's Benefit for the Dawn Run Mares Novice Hurdle. I think she's 6-1 with 188 bet. So there we go, folks. That's our most recent episode of Upping the Ante. I've been David Jennings. This has been Gavin Lynch. And next week, Gavin, it's only going to be 8 weeks to Cheltenham.
That's nearly 2 months.
And don't forget to tune in next week because Gavin has got the winner of the Supreme Novice Hurdle that may or may not have ran in Dundalk last week. There we go. It's a show not to be missed.